It is time to get started. Hey, welcome to At the Track Live. My name is Coach James. I am the creator and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics. What is All About Aerodynamics? I was jumping ahead. I'm so excited to get to these races, but I've got to go through a process and got to go through steps. Let me press the right button. I am the creator and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics, which is a science program where I use Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics-related topics, including but not limited to force, friction, aerodynamics, drag, lift, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, kinetic energy, potential energy, elastic force, a range of science topics. After we go through all the science and we conduct experiments to drive home those concepts, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student selects a Hot Wheels car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything they've learned in the course. Once they have selected their cars, they examine their cars, they take a picture of their car, they shoot a video of their car, they weigh their car, they test the speed of their cars, they check the year the car was manufactured, they observe what the car is made of. Is it metal? Is it mostly plastic? What is going into the composition of the car? They put all of that information into a spreadsheet. Once they've cataloged and documented all of the information that they can observe, then they set up a 1/64 scale quarter-mile drag strip, and we have a tournament, and they race the cars, and they observe how their cars perform. Did their car perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the opportunity, would they select that car again, or would they make a different selection based on what they observed? In the end, we have fun with Hot Wheels cars. We learn science. What could be better? If you would like more information about All About Aerodynamics, a couple of little technical things. Clean this up over here. All right, that's better. If you would like more information about All About Aerodynamics and how to bring our program to your school or your organization or your special event, all you have to do is go to our website, aaAerodynamics.com, or you can go to our Instagram account right there, AA Aerodynamics, and all the information you need to contact me and get more information is in the bio. But this is not all about aerodynamics. This is all about Aerodynamics Presents At the Track Live. So what is At the Track Live? Well, before I can get those cars for the students to use, I have to make sure that I know exactly which cars I'm bringing in so that I can bring those same cars back, have them in a good order so that I can make sure that I've got the cars ready for the next group of students and ready to go. But I end up buying more Hot Wheels cars than I introduce into the fleet, because introducing them into the fleet means that I have to take a picture, I have to shoot a video, I have to enter information into my spreadsheet, and it's kind of boring to do. So then I came up with the idea for At the Track Live, and with that, I can share with you the process of introducing new cars into the fleet. So every week, I go into storage, grab out a bunch of cars, we crack those open, take a look, do a little review. I get my picture, get my video, enter the information into the spreadsheet. And then, since the track is already set up, it's already ready to go, we race the cars. We have a little mini tournament and see which car of the new cars is the fastest. But wait, there's more. You have the opportunity to participate and select a car to race. All you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, and then you're going to have 3 options. You're going to have the YouTube stream link, the Twitch stream link, which you don't need because you're already watching. But the third link is the third most important link, and that is the link that says choose your car. When you go to that link, you will be taken to this page. And on this page, you will see all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics at the Track Live fleet, listed and cataloged and ready to be selected. We have cars from the 70s, from the 80s, from the 90s, the 2000s. We have a couple of cars that were have just been released in the last few weeks. And there is every type of Hot Wheels car that you can imagine. We have fantasy cars, we have cars based on real cars, we have tuned cars, we have cars based on dinosaurs, based on, there's one that's based on this one, the Turbo Rooster, is some kind of chicken themed car. We have a donut car, we have a hot dog car, and then we have the traditional cars. We have Lamborghinis, Corvettes, Mustangs, Ferraris, Lotuses, Lotuses. We have lots of Lotuses. Any kind of car that you're thinking about, even if you like trucks, we have trucks, we have SUVs, we have fire trucks, we have tow trucks, we have Jeeps, vans, buses, ice cream trucks, whatever kind of car that you happen to be into, we have some version of that car, if not the exact car, in our fleet. So what you can do is you can scroll through, look through all of these cars, and then once you find the car you think would be faster than the cars that I've introduced or that you see other people have picked, then you can click on that car. So let's say you think for some reason it's going to be this one, this 65 Mustang convertible. You can click on that, you can take a look, you can see from the reflection in the mirror if it's a plastic body on a metal base or a metal body on a metal base, or in this case it looks to be like it might be metal on metal. Either way, if this is the car that you think would be fastest, all you have to do is take the number of that car, in this case 309, you take that, you drop it in the chat, and then I will pull that car, and after we've done the review of the cars that I'm introducing, then we'll take a look at your cars that you've picked, and we will head to the track. And maybe, just maybe, you can find the fastest car. Here is that Rockin' Santa sled. This has been a topic of conversation for the last couple of weeks because we've got these gimmick cars, and there's another one that I'm going to talk about today. But yeah, we've got every kind of car. We're going to race the cars, and we're going to see which car can come out on top. The car that comes out on top will be today's champion, and we'll have the opportunity to go up against our fastest and fleet car, which is and has been this one. It is the BlitzSpeeder. It is the fastest Hot Wheels car on the planet, and it's not even close at this point. We may be able to find a car today that can beat the BlitzSpeeder, but until we do, the BlitzSpeeder is the reigning, defending, conquering Hot Wheels champion, and it is just ridiculously fast. We have put this car in the wind tunnel. We've watched it race. We've kind of analyzed it up and down, back and forth, and it is just head and shoulders above every car that it's faced. However, it was our champion, as I've mentioned before, last year for 17 weeks. And then on that 17th week, the 18th week rather, it lost to the Gazella R. It lost 2 races. And the Gazella R took off and was our champion for another 16 weeks. On the 17th week, we brought the BlitzSpeeder back. It challenged the Gazella R and destroyed it. Absolutely destroyed it. And since that time, for the last almost 3 months, this car has been our fastest in-fleet champion, and this is where we're at. We are looking for a car that can beat it. So it might be one of the cars that I introduce. It might be one of the cars that you pick. Hey, Beyblade and Caitlin, how you doing? I believe that Beyblade, you picked the Speed Trap, right? Let me Yeah, the speed trap. So on Wednesday, we have a program, Wind Tunnel Wednesdays. And what we do is I have a 1/64th scale wind tunnel from Funtech Labs, the Winsible. And we put the Hot Wheels cars into the wind tunnel, turn on the air streams, and you can see how the air flows over, under, and around the cars. That is important because we are able to get an idea about the amount of drag that these cars are going to experience on the track. And we put the BlitzSpeeder into the wind tunnel first. It's always first because it's the fastest car. So in theory, you would want a car that's going to have a similar aerodynamic profile to the BlitzSpeeder. So it's a good way. What usually happens is people are considering two cars, and they put them both in the wind tunnel, and you can see. I mean, it's not a definitive thing, but you can see and get an idea about how the car is probably going to perform based on what you see in the wind tunnel. So Beyblade had I believe there were a couple of cars that he was considering, and ultimately he went with the speed trap. So we'll take a look at that car later. Roughshod, he was on there. He had a couple of cars that he was checking out and looking at, and he went with a very interesting selection, definitely an out-of-the-box kind of pick. Christopher, he was also considering two cars that were very similar. One was it's like the Formula E Gen 2, and then the Formula E Gen 3. And after seeing them both in the wind tunnel, he decided to go with the Gen 2. So we've already got those cars lined up. Caitlin is looking at car number 506. Hey, Never Ending. Let's see. Let me write this down. 506. And we will take a look. Let's go ahead and see what car number 506 is. What kind of car Caitlin's decided to go with. We have, I think right now there are, I didn't add in the cars from last week, but we're looking at, we have about 875 cars in the fleet, and we will be adding to that number today. 506, getting close right here. 506. Okay, the Avus Quattro. I don't remember if this was like some kind of concept car or if this was just a fantasy car. But here we go, the Avus Quattro. The picture. It's a little dark, so I can't tell if it's if that's a plastic base. I think it is, but we'll check it out when we pull the car. Let me write that, Avus Quattro. Got that. Let's see. Never Ending is going with 863. Let's see. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay, great. So this is what I like is that, so Never Ending has on his channel, also does Hot Wheels racing. It's gravity track. So there's like different considerations for cars that perform well on gravity tracks versus our track, but I'm always looking at gravity track races and videos trying to find cars that are fast, because sometimes a fast car is just a fast car. And let's see, 863. That's gonna be a car that we raced recently. 863. Let's go right back up here. Interesting. Okay, the Subaru BRZ. Interesting. I remember looking at this car, but I don't remember how it performed, but I like it. 863 Subaru. That's Never Ending. All right, we've got a good we've got a good solid class. What I do like about this car immediately is the wing. And if you've watched our races, then you know how important that I believe that the back end of the car is, and having a flat kind of back end to press up against the launching block to push out. Getting a good launch is key and critical. If you check out the BlitzSpeeder, it's got a flat wing in the back that presses up. It's wide and it's flat, presses right up against the launching block, and it helps give the car a good solid push each time. What we've also noticed is cars with the wing that is up in the air, kind of at the roof line, tend to do well. And I think that may have something to do with that wing when it presses up against the launching block and the car gets pushed out. The cars with the higher wings don't seem to get launched into the air as much as when if the launching block is only pressing against the bottom of the car, then the car may have a tendency to fly up into the air. Cars with that wing at the top, it seems like they get better launches. It's just kind of a theory at this point, something that I've observed, but I haven't looked closely enough into it to really be certain. But it seems that's a good indicator that a car is going to have a better opportunity to get a good solid launch. Hey Chris, defer, we were just talking about your pick. I believe you went with the Formula E Gen 2. Let's just double check. Got 157. Yeah, that is it. And when I pull these cars, we'll take a closer look. But let's see, 157 right here. This is the one that he's going with, and like I said, there was the Gen 2, which is this one, and then the Gen 3, which we also put in the wind tunnel, and ultimately Christopher went with this one, which I think is a solid pick. My only concern is on the back end, which we'll take a look at when I pull that car. But so far we're looking good. We've already got a solid lineup of cars to race, and it is only going to get a little more interesting because we are going to introduce some new cars to the group. Now, I stopped on that Rockin' Santa sled because Never Ending had considered that for a moment before he switched up and went with a car that actually went was extremely competitive. But the reason that Rockin' Santa sled and the and what was the other one? The Shark Bite. The reason why they weren't going to do well is because they had that little tab on the wheels, on the front wheels, that activated the gimmick on the car. So on the Shark Bite, it was the shark's mouth. On the Rockin' Santa sled, it makes the Santa rock back and forth. And I'd mentioned this other one, the Hot Wheeler, and since I'd been talking about it, when I went to the grocery store yesterday, it was just sitting there on the shelf, this one, and this is it. But I picked it up because I liked the color and I thought maybe they'd done a redesign, but it turns out they have not, and I already have one. So even though I kind of like the gold and red look of that car a little better than the one I've got, sticking with the one I've got, which is this one. It is the Hot Wheeler, and so it's a similar thing. So it's got the little tabs right there on the wheel, and those tabs flip up, and those tabs end up making, so you can kind of see as it comes around the little tab right there, and what it does is it makes the mouth the top of this part go up and down like that. And so it's a cool little effect while the car is racing, but it's not going to help it win any races because those tabs on the wheels, look at those, stop this. Those tabs, every time they come around and hit the little plastic piece to make the mouth open and close, this is just slowing it down. And I've made this because we've been talking about these cars for the last 3 weeks. And it's like those wheels at a carnival that kind of spin, and they have the little plastic tab that's hitting each of the things, and it's just slowing the wheel down. So this is not going to help at all. But I just I've got some of these gimmick cars in here, and I think that I was talking about having just a gimmick car tournament, and I thought it would be an easy thing, but then, we're talking about 875 cars, and it's not just these. So we have the Hotweiler, Shark Bite, the Rockin' Santa Sled. There's another one where the motor rocks back and forth, but it's the same idea. But then I guess if I was talking about gimmick cars, then it has to be a car that's got something weird about it that Hot Wheels is like the mustache. I forget the exact name of it, but it's that car with the plastic mustache that flips out. We have one in the fleet, and we had to get a second one because we destroyed the axle on one of them because it's an open wheel car. But I also have these cars from the 80s that their gimmick is the door panels look normal, and then if you hit them, they have a spring and they flip over, and then all of a sudden it looks like there's damage to the car. And they came in a set, so there's one where the damage is in the front, one where the damage is in the back, one where it's on the side door, and they're really heavy because they're from the 80s. So that is something I have to figure out, because there are a lot more of these gimmick cars. Even there's the Tooligan, the one that has the wrench on the back. There is the I forget what it's called, but it's the one with the bottle opener on the back. That's still a gimmick. So I really have to kind of take my time and kind of look through all the cars to see exactly how many gimmick cars there are, because that could be a very interesting race that we can, or tournament that we can have in the future. But let's talk about today. And it's pretty rough. The majority of the cars that we have are Hot Wheels cars. There are some Matchbox cars. Hey, Rough Shot, how you doing? But the Matchbox cars, even though they're both made by Mattel, they're made differently. There's something, I don't know exactly what the differences are, but the Matchbox cars typically don't do as well on the track as the Hot Wheels cars. But every once in a while, I see a Matchbox car, it's pretty cool, and I pick it up. And most of the time, I'm picking it up because it's cool, not because I think it's going to be able to win a race. And that is the case with this one that I picked up. It is the Bizzarrini 5300 GT Corsa Revival. That's a long name for a cool little car. Kind of reminds me of the El Segundo Coupe, that is a fantasy car that that Hot Wheels has as part of their line. But the Bizzarrini 5300 GT Corsa Revival. I'm gonna go ahead and presume this is a real car. Yeah, Bizzarrini, officially licensed product. So yeah, this is a real car, or was. I don't know what the year is or whatever, but it's kind of cool. We're gonna break this box open and take a look, see if this Matchbox car can get the job done. Now, they do make a point about metal pieces, so maybe that's the difference. Is Matchbox, I know two things. one, the proportions of the Matchbox cars are more, they're closer to the actual cars. When we talk about Hot Wheels cars, they tend to be a little wider and a little, the dimensions seem to be a little bit more exaggerated just to make them like kind of look cool. So let's see what this car is all about here. The new Buzzkill Hot Wheels. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just looking at the spreadsheet. We have Buzz Lightyear XL01, and Berserk. Haven't seen the Buzzkill. Have to check that out. And I know that Christopher's been talking about the drone duty. I was actually looking for that one yesterday when I was in the store, because I'm pretty sure I've looked it up online, and I'm pretty sure that I bought one in the past, but it is somewhere in storage, and the way the cards are stacked in the storage, until I pull them out, I can't even see them. This is how this, there we go. Pop it out here. All right, so on this one, the hood pops up, but fortunately, since it's opens up in reverse, that shouldn't cause any problems for the car on the track. The car may have other problems, but this hood won't be one of them. So let's see how much it weighs. The Bizzarrini. I've never heard of a Bizzarrini. As it weighs 34.3 grams. Let's move the Hot Weiler and get the Bizzarrini in the mix. And let's switch over to that view and take a look. All right, here we go. The Bizzarrini, which is our first entrant. I'm hoping that the camera decides not to start overheating today. I keep trying to figure it out. I think maybe part of the problem is that I have a light right near the camera, this one, and maybe it's getting the thing a little too hot. So I'm going to keep that light off for the time being, and we'll see if that makes a difference. But we have the Bizzarrini, and it's even that big, the white circle. It just reminds me of the El Segundo Coupe. At least the El Segundo Coupe that I have, I'm pretty sure it has just a big dot on it, and maybe they got the inspiration from this car, which is car number 877. It is the Bizzarrini. I like the name. Bizzarrini 5300 GT Corsa Revival. Oh, whoops. There we go. So it wasn't the light, but for some reason, this thing already heated up and overheated. So what we'll do while we're waiting for that, it's a little warm in here. It's 86 degrees, so I'm just in here sweating it out. Let me look up, while we wait for this to cool off and come back on. Let me look up the El Segundo Coupe. ABC, El Segundo, I don't have it in here? Interesting. I thought I did. Huh. Okay. Well, I don't have the El Segundo Coupe in the fleet. That's strange, because I have seen different versions of it in the store, and I haven't picked one up because I was pretty sure that I already had one. All right, we're still waiting for this thing to get cooled off. let's see, what can we do in the meantime? I will take a look. Well, we'll look up some other cars that I'm possibly considering entering into the fleet. Well, here's one. This one I like. I like it a lot, but I'm not gonna. There's no point even thinking about putting this into the fleet. And I may have mentioned this before. The Dragster. It's a drag tractor, and it's pretty cool. But these open wheels. Now, I would normally, if this had been about a month ago, I would have said these little skinny disc wheels are going to make it so that this car is not going to be competitive. But Roughshod had a pick with the Formula Solar, I believe it was, that had all four wheels with these little skinny discs. And that thing was crazy fast. And it got pretty deep. It was in our Tournament of Champions. Got pretty deep against the best of the best cars that we have. And so I had to throw out all my preconceived notions about these little skinny disc wheels. But with this one, it's so tall, I'd have to do all kinds of things just to get it on the track and make it work out. And all that for a car that we know is going to be pretty slow. It might be too wide to get on the track, whatever, but I don't want to risk damaging the axles on something that's kind of cool. So this is just one of those ones that kind of like this monster milk truck thing is just going to be a car that's here on the desk, and I just like to look at. All right, let's see if this thing is cooled down any. All right, it's cooled down enough that we can at least take the picture. I'll just do the video, do the videos later, and then we'll just get the still pictures. But again, I'm surprised I don't have an El Segundo coupe in the fleet. I know there must be one in storage. There has to be, because I see it all the time. And the only thing that stops me from picking it up is the fact that I believed that I already had one. So, all right, since the light didn't seem to be the reason why the phone overheated, I'll turn that light on, and I will get some background light here on the Bizzarrini. And we have our first car of the day, or at least our first car new to the fleet, the Bizzarrini, that long name, the Bizzarrini 5300 GT Corsa Revival. It's a Matchbox car, and I don't know if they do something different with the axles. The tires, they have that little tread detail right on the edge, but that doesn't follow through to the portion of the tire that actually touches the track. So I don't know that necessarily makes all that much of a difference, but the Matchbox cars just haven't been, typically, we've had one or two that have done pretty well, but generally the Matchbox cars haven't been as good on the track as the Hot Wheels cars. They just haven't. So we will see if the Bizzarrini can get busy on the track and what's happening there. All right, let's go back to the spreadsheet, because I need to check and see if I've got this next car. It is, let's see, Aston Martin. Yep, already have one. So I was considering this one, which I'll show it on this other screen, because if I try to show it on the main screen, you won't be able to see it because it's green. It was this one, the Aston Martin Vantage GTE. But we already have one of those in the fleet, so this one is going to be a prize car. Some student will be able to select that car if they are displaying good citizenship, answering questions, winning games, winning tournaments, etc. All right, let's see. What else have I pulled out here? We had the Hot Weiler. That can't go. All right, how about this one? We're going to check it out. The Twinduction. I don't know if we've got one of these, but I will because I keep a spreadsheet. Twin mill Gen E, twin mill 2, no twin duction. All right, so we've got the Twinduction. Hi, Cynthia. Let's see, $492 sounds good. We're gonna take a look at the Twinduction, and then we'll take a look at your car and see what you've picked. This Twinduction, in looking at it, I'm not a fan of this. I know that I've seen a lot of cars in recent years with this kind of, I don't even know how to do this gray kind of clay color. This car, if I was going to pick it, I should have picked one that had a better color scheme and design, but it is what it is. Let's crack it open and take a look. The Twinduction weighs in at 30.8 grams. So it's a little bit beneath and below what we usually want to see. The sweet spot that we've found for the cars that do well on our track is between 32 grams and 36 grams. Cars that are outside of that, it's not that they don't do well. They just tend not to do as well. So we have the Twinduction here, fantasy car, and it's one of those things. Why did they just paint the engine the same color as the body? Did you run out of paint? Did you not have it in the budget? Did you run out of time? This is just pretty sloppy. When you consider cars like the Roger Dodger, they never do that. They always take time to paint it out. Or if you look at the detail on something like this, on the Dragster, all the different components. Some are plastic. I mean, they're all plastic. There's plastic and metal, but there's silver, there's black, there's some contrast. And then you get to a car like this, and every part of it, they just slapped on that gray paint. It's almost like it just got the primer, and they never got back to finishing up the paint job. I mean, the tail lights, the license plate, everything just slapped that gray paint on. The motor just slapped the gray paint on. The headlights just slapped the gray paint on. Come on, Hot Wheels. As soon as I find a better version of this, because there have to be, this could not be the first thing that came out of the design lab or whatever at Hot Wheels. As soon as I find a better version of this, and I also know something else I hate. Look at these wheels. I mean, was this car a total afterthought? We've got the orange 5 spokes there, and then in the back we've just got this white wall black. This is horrible. This is actually a terribly, not the car so much, but this design. There has to be a better version of this out there, and I'm going to look for it. I'm going to find it, and then we're going to put it on the track against this one, and we're going to see which one comes out on top, because this is awful. And most of the times I'm somewhat indifferent about how they put the cars together, but not this time. This is awful. Come on, Hot Wheels. Somebody was asleep at the wheel. Maybe this was like one of those, it was Friday at 4:30, and somebody's looking at the clock thinking about their weekend and just decided, all right, gray, 2 different wheels, let's go. I'm out. This is the Twinduction, and let's see. I'm not going to shoot the video because I don't want to risk the camera overheating again. Usually, if it overheats, it doesn't tend to overheat in the camera mode. It's usually in the video mode. So I don't know what exactly that's all about, but I know what this is about. This is about the ugliest car that I have seen in a while. And but it's in the fleet, and it will be hitting the track. It weighs in at 30.8 grams. So let me check the manufacturing year. That would be 2010. So we have the Twinduction, and we have the Bizzarrini 5300 GT Corsa Revival ready to go. I didn't check the manufacturing year on that one, 2023. And now we are going to take a look at Cynthia's pick, 492. 492. And let's go ahead and see what that is. And of course, you can go to AtTheTrack.live, select the choose a car option, and boom, you are going to be on this page. And just like Cynthia, Neverending, Caitlin, Beyblade, Roughshod, you are going to have the opportunity to select a car and have it race on our 1/64th scale quarter-mile drag strip. We are looking for car number 492. We are right here. Okay, nice. Corvette Stingray, and I put in parentheses mustard because we have some other Corvette Stingrays. So this is the distinction. We've got mustard right here. And this is interesting because it looks like it is a plastic body on a metal base. And we've had Corvettes in the past. I think Caitlin picked a couple of Corvettes a while back, and they did pretty well. Roughshod picked a Corvette last week. It was definitely a different style and type of Corvette. But Stingray, this looks like a solid pick. So let me just write that down because I will be going to pull these cars in just a little bit. All right, so we're stacked. We've got a good variety of cars that we are going to be choosing from and racing. So let's see which others are going to be introduced here. All right, now if I have this one, which is, I've got to have one of these in the fleet. It is this one, the Rollin' Solo, and you can't see the bottom because it's green and there's a green screen. But this is one of those cars that I look at in the store and I think, yeah, this is going to be fast on the track. This has a shot to be one of our fastest cars. Rollin'. Do we have this in here? Yep, Rollin' Solo, car number 823. So this is another prize car. Someone asked me about a couple of weeks ago about me picking cars, and I was saying that I didn't really pick cars because I'm actually trying to introduce new cars, and if I'm picking cars, then that's kind of throwing things off. But one car, everybody has their cars picked. If you're thinking about a car, if I was just stumbling across AtTheTrack.live and I said, oh, hey, I think I might want to pick a car. Here's a car that I saw in the store yesterday that I knew I already had in the fleet. But if I were picking cars, this is one that I might try out. It is this one, the Alpha Pursuit. I don't know. It just based on everything that we've kind of seen from the different Hot Wheels cars that have been that have performed well on our track, the Alpha Pursuit may be in that league. Now it's a little narrow, and I think that might work against it. But it's got the flat back end. The profile is pretty good, although the sirens on top do kind of will probably, if we were to put this car in the wind tunnel, those sirens on the top would probably impede the airflow, and you'd get that separation of the air from the body of the car, which creates the pressure drag, which would work to slow this car down. But you know, sometimes people ask my opinion, and if I were just out there just picking cars, this is one that I would definitely consider, the Alpha Pursuit. So we have, okay, so baby, yeah, so hey, you can wait and see. If the speed trap doesn't work out, then you can go with the Alpha Pursuit, and you can continue your police car theme. So we will see how this all plays out today. I'm going to introduce a few more cars, and then we will hit the track. Let's see. I have... You're talking about horrible cars, horrible looking cars. We've got the Proton Saga. But even I like this design better than that Twinduction. This is not nearly as bad, and we may already have introduced this, so I'm just going to scroll down and check, which is the benefit of keeping this spreadsheet. We have Praying Menace. We do not have a Proton Saga. Well, guess what? We do now. Let's crack this open and take a look. Anything on the back? Okay. So this is a real car. If you live in Malaysia, then perhaps you've seen this. It says on the back, Proton Saga. Born in 1985 in Malaysia, designer Proton. Drive around in the first national car of Malaysia, a celebration of automotive ingenuity. Over 2 million units of the Saga have been built and sold globally, making it the best-selling car of Proton. Okay, well, it's been sold globally, but I don't think I've ever seen one. But we've got the Hot Wheels version here, and let's see. The Proton Saga. It would be absolutely wild if this car was fast. And there's a few reasons why I don't think it'll be fast, but if it were to be fast, that would be just wild. Okay, comes in at, what did I say? 31.2 grams. We've got it right here. Let's go ahead and take a look. The Proton Saga. I'll hit the this so you can take a look. 360. The wheelbase seems a little narrow, and I don't like that for cars on our track. Wider cars tend to be a little more stable. This looks like a car that's going to bounce around the track quite a bit. It doesn't have a lot of weight to it. It's at the bottom end of where we ideally would like cars to be. But the Proton Saga is going to hit the track. Now the back end of the car is flat, and I like that. But cars with the wheels that are sort of tucked under the body like that, well, this isn't as bad an example as we've seen in the past, but it's not too good. But you never know. We're going to take this car to the track, and I still like it better than the Twinduction. The Twinduction, that is absolutely horrible. So down to diecast. He's asking about the heavier the better. So on our track, it's actually not the case. So we don't have a gravity track. We have a flat drag track, so it's completely flat. The cars launch out, and what ends up happening is that there are three forces that are basically working against the car. So you have gravity, friction, and drag. And on our track, what happens with heavier cars is towards the back end of the track, they start to slow down. Ultimately, the drag takes them out. And even with lighter cars, so if you go too light at the back end of the track, the cars will slow down. But the heavier cars, even if their aerodynamic profile is good, what happens is they're just too heavy. And the cars are getting the same amount of force when they're coming out of the launcher. So if a car is lighter and getting that same amount of force, it's going to move faster. And in order for the heavier car to move as fast, it would need more force. But since the cars are getting the exact same amount of force, ultimately the gravity, the cars will start to slow down at the end. The heavier car will start to noticeably slow down at the back end of our track. With lighter cars, they slow down at the back end of our track, but that's more an effect of drag. So there's different considerations you want to make when you're picking a car for the flat drag track versus the gravity track. But we're gonna see something, because Never Ending had the car that he selected has been really fast on his channel on his gravity track, and we're gonna see how that works out. Two of the cars that I've seen do really well on gravity tracks on other channels are these, and these were the first two Hot Wheels cars that I ever had. This front running Fairmont, and I played with this a lot, obviously, but it's really heavy. It's probably in the mid to high 40s in terms of weight. It's metal on metal. It's one of those old school early 80s, late 70s Hot Wheels cars, all metal. It's got the gold Hot Ones wheels. That one and this one, these two tend to do well on gravity tracks. On our track, they're just too heavy, and by the time they get to the back end of the track, it's just that weight slows them down, and you can see it. And that's part of the reason. It's part of the reason why I use the flat drag track, and why the students are able to make their observations. Because what you will definitely see is you'll have two cars coming down the track, and at the back end is where you really start to see certain things. And it looks like, in a lot of cases, one car is speeding up and just gaining speed. But we know that's not the case. We know that the cars are never going to be faster than they are when they're coming out of the launcher, when they first come out. From that point, those three forces are just working to slow the cars down. The question is, which car can sort of minimize the impact of those forces? That car will maintain faster speed down the track and ultimately win. So anytime we see a car look like it's gaining speed, it's not that. It's that the other car is losing speed rapidly for some reason. And it's usually, again, with the heavier cars, it's a function of gravity and the weight. And with the lighter cars, it's usually drag that is slowing them down. So we are just about, I mean, we've got a good solid lineup. Plus, I've got to go pull the cars and down to diecast. You've still got a little bit of time. If you go to AtTheTrack.live and select the choose a car option, you will be taken to our page where you can go through and you can select one of the 870 plus cars that we have there if you want to get in on this race. The Proton Saga, I've got to get the year 2023 for that one. And we are, I think, might as well do it big, because I won't be here next Saturday. There's a holiday, well, here in the United States, and I'll be out of town. So we might as well do a big race today. So let's go with this is another car. This car looks cool. Whatever. I'm picking this car. I don't think it'll be fast. It looks cool, in my selections when I go to stores and pick cars is either one of those two things. Either I think it's going to be fast, or I think it looks cool. And that's really about it. Or sometimes if it's a character car, I think the students might like it. But other than that, we're going to roll with this 58 Chevy Impala and take a look. I don't know that we've had any of these big, massive, old school cars do well. I think about the that Lincoln Continental, which is a great looking car that Matrix car. We had two versions. We have the mainline Hot Wheels version, and we have the premium version, the Matrix version. And great looking car, but just a big boat that didn't do well on the track. And I've got a feeling this car is going to be similarly in that boat category. And we've got this one weighed in. I just weighed it and didn't take note. 32.5 grams. So it's right at the beginning of the sweet spot. And we know the BlitzSpeeder, I believe it's either 34.2 or 32.4 grams. Let me see. Yeah, the BlitzSpeeder is 32.4 grams. And we have this car, this 58 Impala. It's just, even though it doesn't weigh that much, I just don't have much confidence that it's going to be able to do very much on the track. Let me swap out background here. Just get a little more contrast. Be able to see the car. Yeah, I don't have any confidence that it's going to be able to do much. It's just too big. The wheelbase is very narrow. That's not good. We haven't seen that work out for anybody or any car. And this car, it's really long, but it's not all that wide. And because of that, it is pretty much a guarantee that this thing it'll probably bounce around the track a bit, but I don't expect much from it. So we have the 58 Impala. I'll hit this so you can take a look at it. 360, and after this, I will go and pull those other cars. This is car number 880. It is the 58 Chevy Impala. And we are, check the manufacturing year, is 2006. That is a lot of car. And then that, again, I hate to see cars where the wheels are tucked under the body like that. That cannot possibly help this car out at all. So we are going to go with that. Yeah, just double checking that year. All right. So we've got the cars that are new to the fleet. We've got the Impala, the Proton Saga, the Twinduction, and the Bizzarrini. Now, I am going to go and pull all of the other cars that you all have picked and make sure that we've got them. So let's see. We've got Caitlin with the Avus Quattro, Never Ending with that Subaru, Cynthia with the Stingray, Christopher Roughshod and Beyblade. I've got your cars there, so I just need to go pull up these other three. And as always, I will throw up the bathroom break graphic, and I'm going to go pull these cars. Should just take me a couple of minutes to grab them, and then we'll be back and be one step closer to hitting the track for these races. Be right back. All right, got those cards pulled, and let's go ahead and take a quick look and see what we've got. So this one, Never Ending, selected this, and this car raced on our track recently. It's car number 863, and we're gonna see. So he said this is a car that did very well on his gravity track. So we're gonna see. I definitely, as I pointed out earlier when we were just looking at the picture, I like this wing. This wing is, I like that. That's gonna pretty much guarantee this car gets a good solid push out of the blocks. The wing is at the level of the roof line. Pretty good, pretty good. I can't see anything wrong with this pick. I don't remember how it performed. If it's car 863, then that means it was a pretty recent entrant. Let me see what it weighs. It weighs 32.6 grams, so the weight is good. The you know, I don't see any reason why it shouldn't do well. 39.9 grams is what we've got for the Avus Quattro. That is Caitlin's pick. And again, I don't see any issues with this car. The back end is flat. And just to be clear, this is the back end here. Back end is flat. There's not really anything that would impede the airflow. So the drag shouldn't be too extreme on this car. It's just one of those things that we think, you know, one of those, like, I think this car should do well. We're going to see exactly how it performs. Now, if there is the possibility that right here, what would happen is we've seen with these cars when we put them in the wind tunnel, is that the airflow on the roof line, when the back of the car, the back windshield starts to slope down, sometimes what we get is the airflow separating from the body of the car. So the air hits the front bumper, comes up the hood, up the windshield to the roof, and then it tails off right about here. And at the point where the air separates from the body of the car, it changes the air pressure. And it creates an area of low pressure. And so there's high pressure at the front, low pressure at the back. Pressure is trying to move from high areas of high pressure to low. So it creates this pressure drag that sort of works against the forward momentum of the car. And that could slow it down. So if this air kind of tails off, it might be trouble. What we see with the BlitzSpeeder, for example, is that the airflow on this car, the air never separates from the body of the car. It goes from the bumper, right up the hood, windshield, roof line, all the way back to this wing, and then tails off. There is no separation. So the BlitzSpeeder is able to minimize that pressure drag, and that is huge on our track. All right, let's check out this Corvette Stingray. This is Cynthia's pick. The weight, 38 grams. So this is heavier than I would have expected. And it's a metal base and a plastic body. Classic Corvette Stingray. It's, as these cars tend to be, it's narrow. We'll see how that works out. 38 grams isn't extremely heavy. It's just slightly outside of kind of that ideal weight position that we like to see, or that we tend to see from cars that do well on the track. It's got wider wheels at the back. It's got smaller, more traditional wheels in the front. And again, it's a metal base, plastic body, and it looks like I was trying to check to see if the interior, like the seats and all those things, were also metal. I guess they would be, considering the base is metal. So we've got a Corvette Stingray, and this should be interesting. Now we've had heavier cars do well, but they're usually smaller. The Chaparral 2 is the one example that always comes to mind. It's a small, compact car. It weighed about 40 grams at least, but it was fast. It did well on the track. So we will see how this Stingray performs. We have also got Beyblade Speed Trap. And if this doesn't work out, then he might go with the Alpha Pursuit, which is another fantasy police car. This one I'm thinking should do pretty well. Flat back end. There's not really anything to really impede the airflow. I mean, it's got couple little, I guess these would be the sirens and the shield in the front. But all in all, I think this car, in looking at the field, there's maybe one or two cars that I think might be, I might give the edge to over this one. But at the end of today's tournament, I will not be surprised if this car is in the mix for the title. Let's see, Matchbox made GMC utility truck. I'm just checking on the chat, making sure I didn't miss anything, anybody's picks. Oh, okay, boom, I did. I'm glad I went back and looked. Okay, down to Diecast has made his selection. He is going with 37. Let's go ahead and see what car number 37 is. This is one of the cars that was introduced. Okay. This Ferrari, the Ferrari 333 SP. Let me make sure I have it here. I may have it closer. No, I will pull that car. All right, nice. We have another car added to the mix. This is the one that he selected. And let me just write this down. That is car number 37. This Ferrari. And that down to Dyke. All right, I will pull that car. And let's see. We have Christopher. He had a choice between two cars. There was the Formula E Gen 2, which is this one, and the Formula E Gen 3, which is very similar. But when you put them side by side, then you can see the differences. Like if you just look at one, then you look at the other, you think, yeah, they're kind of similar. But when we put them side by side and we put them in the wind tunnel, then we started to see the differences. And this seemed to be the better pick. And this is the one that Christopher went with. And we are, back this out just a little bit. And this car is interesting because it's got it's kind of this Formula One-ish, like futuristic Formula One kind of car. But as it comes around, this is the part that concerns me, is this back end. It's got this little, like, tailpipe thing coming out of the back. That is going to be the only point of contact with the launching block. And what we've said all along is you want, ideally, more surface area touching the launching block to give it a more solid push out of the gate. But, we'll see what happens. When you only have this one small point of contact, the launches tend to be inconsistent. So this car, if it gets a perfect launch, should be good. But we don't know if that's going to be able to be sustained all the way through the tournament. It may get 2 good launches, 2 bad launches, 2 good launches, 2 bad launches. And if that's the pattern, then that's a recipe to ultimately kind of lose. But there's always the chance that it gets consistent launches, and we will see what happens. So that's the Formula E Gen 2, and that is Christopher's pick. And then we have Roughshod going all the way out of the box. Although this isn't as wild a pick as it seems. This is the Bubblematic. And the gimmick on this one is that if you have some soapy water on hand, this part lifts up, and you can dip that into the soapy water, and you can blow bubbles. And that's it. But here's the thing, with most of these cars, like the Hotweiler, the Rockin' Santa Sled, the gimmick interferes with the car's ability to perform on the track because it's so outrageous that it just takes away from the aerodynamics, from the ultimately from the performance of the car. This one not so much, because the bubble ring, actually flattens down. It drops into a little carved out area, so it's not even it's not impeding the airflow at all. It's actually out of the way. Something, right here, this little fin in the back, the air may deal with that. But really, when we put this car in the wind tunnel, we saw that the air was flowing off this dome and kind of separating, going wherever it was going to go. But really, this should be interesting. It's got the larger wheels at the back, smaller wheels at the front. That kind of funny car style. The back end, if we take a look at that, this orange wing is what's going to be pressed up against the launching block, and it's got a higher point of contact, which my theory is that helps the cars be a little more stable coming out. So that's what we've got. Let me grab this last car down to die cast. We have a full slate of cars. Pull that. And then this is his pick. Let me check the weight. Oh, I didn't check the weight on the Bubblematic. The weight on the Bubblematic is 37.6 grams. So again, another car that's just slightly outside of our sort of ideal range. And this Ferrari is also coming in at 37.6 grams. This is a metal body on a plastic base, and we are looking at this one. And that wing in the back, pretty good. I'm gonna have to straighten it out because it's plastic, and it seems like it's a little got bent a little bit, but that should give the car a good solid push. It does. It's a little crooked, but it's plastic and it's kind of pliable, so I'll be able to adjust it so that it straightens out when I put it in the launcher. But this is what we've got. Low profile. Not sure what's going to happen when the air's going to flow up, and then it's going to hit this area, and where it's got the back of the seat, and there is no windshield here. So the air's going to come up and flow and end up right here. And the question is this going to work to slow the car down? When the air hits this area, is that going to kind of have the impact of just slowing this car down? If there was a windshield here, I might be a little more optimistic, but this is what we've got. So we have a good solid lineup of cars. We are ready to go hit the track, but I just want to explain, especially if this is your first time watching an all about aerodynamics at the track live race, this is what you are going to see. You are going to see our 3-camera track view, and the cars are going to start at the top of the screen on the left. At the launcher, I'm going to give a countdown, 3, 2, 1, race. I'm going to hit the switch. The cars are going to come firing out of the launcher. They're going to go from top to bottom. They're going to pass out of the bottom of the screen on the left. They're going to show up at the top of the screen in the middle. They're going to go from top to bottom. They will pass out of the screen in the middle. They will show up at the top of the screen on the right, our finish line camera. They will come from top to bottom, crossing the finish line, and the winning car will be indicated with a solid red light. A solid red light indicates the winning car. A flashing red light indicates the losing car. Their races are best 2 out of 3. The cars switch lanes after each race. If a car crashes and leaves the track, then that car is just out of luck, but not so much, because we will throw out the results of that race and restart the race. If a car crashes twice consecutively and leaves the track, then that car is disqualified. And the reason is, if a car crashes twice consecutively, then usually the reason that the car crashed is not going to be resolved by just rerunning the race. So if a car crashes twice and leaves the track, then it is disqualified. If a car crashes but does not leave the track, like it flips over on its roof, but it stays on the track, then that car is just a losing car and unfortunate. So if your car crashes, you want it to leave the track so that you can get a restart on the race. That is all that you need to know. We are ready to go. We've got a good solid lineup of cars. We've got the BlitzSpeeder waiting to see who shows up to challenge it for the fastest in fleet title. And I think it's time for us to head over to the track. I will see you in 30 seconds. Okay, we are just about to get underway. Just let me do what I always do. Just want to double check the audio. 1, 2, 1, 2. Good. We are good to go. We are ready. We've got a nice, solid lineup of cars. We've got a lot of different, cars in there. Not all the same. Different weights, different styles, different shapes. And we are going to see which of these is ready to step up to the challenge of the BlitzSpeeder. We have Ferraris, we have Corvettes, we have fantasy cars, and then we also have the car with the best name of the day, the Bizzarrini. The Bizzarrini is going to be in this first race. Which car is the Bizzarrini going to take on? Let's go. We're going to go Bizzarrini versus Caitlin's, what was this? The Avus Quattro. Bizzarrini versus Quattro. Let's see what we've got here. All right. Getting these cars set up, ready to race. We are going to put the Avus Quattro, which feels much heavier than the Bizzarrini. The Bizzarrini, a Matchbox car. It's got a hood that opens up. That is not, but fortunately the hood opens up in reverse, so it's not, there's no chance that hood compromises the aerodynamics of this car. All right, we've got the Bizzarrini in lane 1. We've got the Avus Quattro in lane 2. Bizzarrini versus Quattro, first race of the day, race 1. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. Bizzarrini lost, but was competitive. So that's being competitive. At this point, I've kind of set the bar kind of low for Matchbox cars, and being competitive is it's not a win, but it's a plus. It's a step in the right direction. you've got to be competitive before you can be a winner. So I guess that's a lesson for some of these cars. Anyway, Avus Quattro took it, so we are going to switch lanes and see if we get a different result this time. This time the Bizzarrini is in lane 2, and the Avus Quattro is in lane 1. All right, here we go. Avus Quattro lane 1, Bizzarrini lane 2. Three, two, one, race. That race was a lot closer than I thought it would be. Avus Quattro took it and will be moving on, but the Bizzarrini did itself pretty proudly. Yeah, I'm gonna miss saying Bizzarrini, but those are the breaks. That's how it goes. All right, next up, let's go with we're gonna go with the Speed Trap versus the Twinduction. The Twinduction, the car where the Hot Wheels designer took the afternoon off and just mailed in half a design. The Twinduction is going to be in lane 1. The Speed Trap is going to be in lane 2. This is going to be the first of Beyblade's police car picks. We've got the Speed Trap in lane 2, the Twinduction in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Speed Trap takes it, looks good, looks fast. So that is one. This may be the car. This may be the car of the day. I don't know. I said that I would not be surprised if the Speed Trap is there at the end, and that performance suggested I could be right. But there is still another race to go. It is best 2 out of 3. Cars have switched lanes. We've got the Speed Trap in lane 1 and the Twinduction in lane 2. Race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Woo. The Speed Trap turned it on the back end. Those cars were pretty much even. Middle section of the track, the Twinduction had a bit of a lead, and then the Speed Trap caught it, passed it at the end. So maybe it's that big gray engine block sticking out of the top of the Twinduction that did it in. But at any rate, the Speed Trap is with the Avus Quattro. It's moving on. Rough Shot said the Superbird and the Brazilian Charger were heavy, but yeah, those two cars, that Brazilian Charger, that was a wild ride that car would take. I've never seen a car bump around the track as much, but still manage to somehow be fast. Usually bumping around side to side on the track, that friction slows the cars down, and they just don't do well. But that Brazilian Charger was definitely the exception to that rule. All right, let's go with, we're going to go with Cynthia's Corvette against the 58 Impala. And the Corvette is heavy, but that's not necessarily, it's not so heavy. It's not into the 40s. It was, I think, like 38 grams. So that's not bad. And it's a Corvette, so we know the aerodynamics are going to be on point. And this 58 Impala, cool looking car, nice design, nice lines. It's like the total opposite of the Twinduction, but I just think it's going to be too big and bounce around. I can't imagine this car doing well, but this is why we race the races. So we've got the Corvette in lane 2, we have the Impala in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. And as expected, the Impala just bumped around and did not do much. Let me see. All right, let's see. Let me knock something down. All right, this Impala, it bounced around from the beginning and was just slow. I don't expect anything different in this next race. I expect the Corvette to take it with complete and total ease, but you never know. Strange things have happened in the past. This would be maybe one of the strangest, but you never know. We have the Impala in lane 2. We've got the Corvette set up in lane 1. And let's go ahead and see what happens. All right, Impala lane 2, Corvette lane 1, race 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. So the Corvette, I mean, just destroyed the Impala. But because the Impala is so slow, it's hard to tell how fast the Corvette is. And I think we've run into this in the past, where we have a car that looks really fast, but it turns out it looks really fast because it was racing cars that were really slow. But I think that was a good showing from the Corvette. And now let's go with, we're gonna go with down to diecast Ferrari against Christopher's Formula E Gen 2. A selection he made. He was considering the Gen 3 and ended up sticking with the Gen 2. And this is where we're at. So the Gen 2, as I mentioned, my concern is that it just has that one point of contact on the back end, that like tailpipe that's sticking out, and I don't know what kind of launch it's gonna get. It could get a perfect launch, it could get a really weird, wonky launch. I don't know, but we're gonna find out. We've got the Formula E Gen 2 in lane 1. We've got the Ferrari in lane 2 down to diecast. Picked this Ferrari, got it in our last pick. So Ferrari's in lane 2, Formula E Gen 2 in lane 1, race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Ooh. That race was close. The cars didn't seem to be moving that fast, or maybe they're just very evenly matched. The Ferrari took that one. We are going to switch lanes and see if there is a different outcome, or if we are going to be moving on with a 2-0 sweep by the Ferrari. But again, it's really tough to know what kind of launch the Formula E is going to get. And that's just what happens when you have cars that have a back end that is not totally flat. You just don't know. They could get a great launch, they could get a bad launch. We just don't know. And I think that's one of the key points and one of the first things that I look at. So, all right, here we go. Race number 2, we've got the Ferrari in lane 1. We have the Formula E Gen 2 in lane 2, race 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Ooh. That was interesting because the Ferrari was definitely slowing down toward the back end of the track, but there just wasn't enough track left, and it was able to hold on to its advantage and take that race. And so the Ferrari down to diecast will be moving on. along with the Caitlin's Avus Quattro. We've got Beyblade Speed Trap and Cynthia's Corvette. We now are getting nearer to the end of our first round. Let's see. We've got Roughshods Bubblematic is going to take on, who picked that? Never Ending Subaru. Bubblematic versus Subaru. Traditional, real car versus fantasy gimmick car. But like I said, I don't think that the gimmick on the Bubblematic will make a difference. Usually the gimmicks interfere with the car's performance. I don't think that's the case here. This is just a pretty standard fantasy car situation. We've got the Bubblematic in lane 2. We've got the Subaru in lane 1. Bubblematic, Subaru, Subaru lane 1, Bubblematic lane 2, race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. So the Bubblematic took it. The Subaru got a weird launch. It went up on 2 wheels. It corrected itself. It's another example of a case where the car corrected itself on the track, which is cool, but it would have been better off crashing, because if you correct your launch, you get a weird launch, and it went up on 2 wheels, it came back down, but you can't catch up. I've never seen a car start off that way and then catch up. So if your car gets a bad launch, you're better off, you really want the car to just crash. So the Bubblematic took that one. We're going to line these cars up, switching lanes, and see if Never Ending Subaru can stay on the track, get a solid launch, and send this to a third and final race. But right now we've got the Bubblematic with the 1-0 advantage in lane 1, and the Subaru in lane 2, race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Subaru stayed on the track, stays alive, takes the race. So that one was close, and this is just another example of the launch that a car gets matters. And if a car can get a solid launch, then it's going to have an opportunity to win, depending on some of the other factors. But right now we are going to our first race 3 of the day, and this is going to see the Bubblematic back in lane 2 and the Subaru in lane 1. So we saw the Bubblematic take the first race, but the Subaru definitely had a bad launch. When the Subaru got a good launch in the second race, it won. So we're going to find out right now. Most important thing for the Subaru is this launch. If it can get a good launch, can it stay ahead of the Bubblematic and repeat that performance? We're going to find out. All right, Subaru's in lane 1, Bubblematic's in lane 2, race 3, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Subaru stays down, takes the race. That was it. It turns out that the Subaru just needed to have a good launch. And once it had a good launch, the rest is Hot Wheels track history. So the Bubblematic had a good performance. I definitely don't think that the bubble thing interfered with the car's performance, but the Subaru corrected itself. So now we're down to 6 cars, but one that hasn't raced yet is the Proton Saga. So we're going to have the Proton Saga against the Speed Trap. we are going to do that. So Beyblade's pick is hitting the track once again against the Proton Saga, the car that out of Malaysia, and I don't know, it just doesn't strike me as the kind of car that's going to perform well. I expect the speed trap to blow it off the track, but you know, this is why we race the cars, because you just never know. So here we go. Proton Saga, lane 1, speed trap lane 2, race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Speed trap, that's a fast car. And this is not, I mean, it doesn't matter that the Proton Saga is slow, which it definitely appears to be. Sometimes you can just tell when a car is like moving fast, and it's not about the competition that it's going up against. You can just tell that it's fast. So Beyblade may have cracked this code in terms of finding that car that can, dare I say, go up against and challenge the BlitzSpeeder, but that's way down the line. We're way too far ahead of ourselves. All right, he's got to win this race. Proton Saga is now in lane 2. The speed trap is now in lane 1. Race number 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. That race was a little closer, and when I say a little closer, I mean a little. But Proton Saga, thank you for playing. But you can go ahead and have a seat and watch the remainder of our event from the sidelines. Okay, we are now getting down. Let's see. Let's go with we'll go with Cynthia's Corvette against Caitlin's Avus Quattro, and I think these were two of the heavier cars of the day, but not by any extreme amount. So we're going to go with the Avus Quattro in lane 1 and the Corvette in lane 2. Both cars are ready to roll. All right, Corvette lane 2, Avus Quattro lane 1, race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Ooh. That was a good, solid race. Two cars very closely matched. The Avus Quattro takes it, and we'll be moving on. And the same way I said with the speed trap, you can like look and tell when a car is fast. That race was slow, but the cars were evenly matched. So that's the thing. You can have a race where the cars aren't moving as fast. That's still a good race. Just so happens that the Avus Quattro took that one. So we're switching lanes. We've got the Avus Quattro now in lane 2. We have the Corvette Stingray in lane 1. We are going to get race 2 started. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Avus Quattro took that in another good, solid race. That was a good, good competitive race, and nothing wrong with that at all. And now we're down to 4 cars. It will soon be 3. We are going to go with Never Ending's Subaru against Down to Die Cast Ferrari. And both of these cars, these are the last 2 cars with wings. They both have wings. The difference being that the Subaru wing is metal, and The wing on the Ferrari is plastic, and we'll see. Well, we won't be able to determine if that was the determining factor, but we're going to see what happens. All right, we've got the Ferrari in lane 2. We've got the Subaru in lane 1. Race number 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. That Ferrari, again, this race was, the cars were moving slowly, and maybe they're just slow cars, because we know there's nothing, it's not a launcher issue, because the speed trap is definitely moving quickly, but the Ferrari took it with ease. But we have seen, as we saw in the last round, the Subaru lost the first race and then came back and won 2 in a row and sent the Bubblematic home. So can it repeat that feat? Let's go ahead and see what happens. All right, we have the Ferrari now in lane number 1. We have the Subaru in lane 2. Never-ending Subaru has got to come through. It's got to win 2 races in a row. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Subaru's trying to do it. The Subaru takes that race, and the margin that the Subaru got beaten by in that first race versus what happened in the second race suggests that maybe it got a bad launch in the first race, just like it did in the matchup against the Bubblematic. But it straightened out, took the race, and we're now even. We're going to our third and final race. The Subaru, very interesting. What kind of, it's hard to figure out what this car is going to do. It gets blown out, it wins races. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this car, but I do know that I think it's going to need to win this race in order to move on. That is undisputed. All right, we have the Subaru in lane 1, hoping to get another good launch. We have the Ferrari in lane 2, hoping it can also get a good launch and take this race and move on. So here we go. Ferrari lane 2, Subaru lane 1, race number 3. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Whew. Ferrari took it, and again with that wider, larger margin of victory. So the Ferrari is moving on. We are now down to 3 cars that are looking to become today's tournament winner and ultimately challenge the BlitzSpeeder. We have let's see, we have down to die-cast Ferrari, we have Caitlin's Avus Quattro, and we have Beyblade's Speed Trap. We are going to go Speed Trap versus Quattro right now. If I had to guess, I would put my money on the Speed Trap just because the Avus Quattro has done well, and it's gotten to this point, but the performances haven't blown me away, and the Speed Trap has been the fastest car, just with the eye test, that we've seen today. So Speed Trap is in lane 1, Avus Quattro is in lane 2, race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Wow. That was a lot closer than I thought, and from this angle, I thought that the Avus Quattro was actually going to be the winner of that race, Turns out it just lost, as indicated by the lights. Solid red light indicates the victory, and we are going to switch lanes. But I was definitely, and this is the thing. I was gonna say I was definitely surprised, and this is why you have to race the cars. You can have all the theories and the hypotheses and all that you want, but until you conduct the experiment, you just never know. So let's get these cars switched around and get this right here. We've got the Avus Quattro in lane 1. We have the Speed Trap in lane 2. This is race number 2. The Speed Trap is up 1 race to none. The Avus Quattro is gonna need to take 2 in a row. Let's see if it can do it. Here we go, race number 2. 3, 2, 1, race. Avus Quattro did it. We are going to race number 3. And this is really anybody's race because that first race was very close. Second race, very close as well. And we're going to see what happens in this third race. Who is going to be taking on down to diecast Ferrari? Is it going to be Beyblade? Is it going to be Caitlin? We are going to find out. We've got the Speed Trap versus the Avus Quattro. The Avus Quattro's in lane 2. The Speed Trap is in lane 1. Avus Quattro versus the Speed Trap. So, all right, we've got Speed Trap lane 1, Avus Quattro lane 2. This is race number 3. We're going to find out which of these cars is moving on to the finals. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Oh, and it's an almost identical thing that we saw in the first race, where the race was extremely close. The Avus Quattro seemed to have a lead, at least from my vantage point, but toward the end of the track, the Speed Trap took it, and it was not by much. Anytime I have to go and look at the lights to see which car won, it's an indication that we had a very good and close race. But our finals matchup is going to be Beyblade Speed Trap and down to diecast Ferrari. Let's see, 64 scale aerodynamic. Which launcher do you use and how long is the track? So the track is 164 scale quarter mile, so it's roughly like around 21 feet. As far as the launcher I actually designed it and went through a lot of trial and error and a lot of expense, and I had it ultimately 3D printed, all the pieces and parts, because I needed a launcher that I could adjust to get the speeds where I needed the cars to be in order to observe the different aerodynamic factors. So in particular, drag, the impact of drag, obviously when the faster an object moves through the air, then the more drag is going to become a factor. So I wanted to have the cars moving at their fastest possible speed. And then also Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So when we get the cars launching out at higher speeds, if they hit one side of the track, they're going to have the equal and opposite reaction. They're going to bounce back to the other side. And because the cars come out with so much force and so much speed, that phenomenon is easier for the students to observe when the cars are moving at this speed. You can just see them bouncing back and forth, and it's easier for the students to visualize and see and understand what's happening. So yeah, this is a custom launcher. Hopefully in the future I'm going to be putting together a curriculum package and making the launcher available as a part of that. But that's down the line. But it's definitely coming. That's ultimately the plan. So appreciate you being here. And you came in, and we are down to our finals. We have, let's see, we have Down to Diecast Ferrari in lane 2. We have Beyblade Speed Trap in lane 1. This is the finals. This is to see which of these cars is going to take on the BlitzSpeeder. So here's what we've got. Race number 1 coming up. Ferrari lane 2, Speed Trap lane 1. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. And that is an example. So the Speed Trap took it. But here's what we saw. We saw the Ferrari was in the lead for about 2/3 of the race. And then it looked like the Speed Trap picked up speed and passed it. But as we explained earlier, we know that's not what happened. These cars are not gaining speed on a flat track. What happened is the Ferrari began to slow down at a faster rate. And I would argue that it was inevitably, it's probably drag, because we had the sort of the back of the driver's cockpit area, and we talked about, is the air going to stack up against that, and is it ultimately going to slow down the Ferrari? And if it was going to happen, we would see it towards the back end. And that's pretty much what we saw. So if we see it again in this race, we'll know, yeah, that's most likely what happened. So we've got the Ferrari in lane 1. We've got the Speed Trap in lane 2. This is race 2. The Ferrari needs to come back and take 2 in a row. The Subaru did it. Can the Ferrari do it? Ferrari in lane 1, Speed Trap lane 2, race 2. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. It happened again. And it wasn't as dramatic, but it happened again. And what that means is that Beyblade Speed Trap is today's tournament champion. It was the fastest of the cars that was introduced to the fleet. It was the fastest of the cars that viewers picked. But now we're going to find out, is it the fastest in fleet? Because it is now going to take on the fastest Hot Wheels car on the planet, the BlitzSpeeder. The BlitzSpeeder has been our champion for the last basically 3 months. And then last year, it was champion for 4 months before being beaten out by the Gazella R. It came back. It avenged that loss. It defeated the Gazella R. And then it also came back and won our Tournament of Champions. It has not been challenged. It has not lost a race. The way our races are best 2 out of 3. It has not lost a single heat or race, whatever. It hasn't lost. And it's won convincingly. Is this the day that all changes? Can the Speed Trap be that car to come out of nowhere and defeat the BlitzSpeeder? The BlitzSpeeder is in lane number 1. The Speed Trap is in lane number 2. Can it happen? Is this the day that it happens? The BlitzSpeeder has been looking, waiting for a challenge. Is this the day that it happens? BlitzSpeeder lane 1, Speed Trap lane 2. Race number 1, fastest in fleet title on the line. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. Okay, Speed Trap. I see you. You didn't win, but you were hanging right in there. You were right on the BlitzSpeeder's bumper. And hey, that's not bad. Usually the BlitzSpeeder is obliterating cars, laying them out, and hey, good for you. But you're going to need to take 2 in a row from the BlitzSpeeder, and that's a lot. That's a lot to ask of any car. The BlitzSpeeder, we know what the BlitzSpeeder does, and if the BlitzSpeeder does it again, it will be moving on, remaining our fastest in fleet champion. But there's always a chance. You're saying there's a chance. Not really, but maybe. All right, BlitzSpeeder's in lane 2, Speed Trap in lane 1, race number 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. The BlitzSpeeder's not playing. I mean, it's borderline unfair. And again, I don't modify these cars at all. This is how they come out of the pack. And as in fact, we did a BlitzSpeeder versus BlitzSpeeder race a while back, and this BlitzSpeeder still won. So let me gather up these cars, head back into the garage. We're going to take a look at the winners, the losers, what's coming up, and yeah, just give me a minute. Okay, so once again, the BlitzSpeeder is that car. It is the fastest Hot Wheels car on the planet. There is no question about that. It has just been so dominant that I'm not sure which car is going to come along to beat it. But the fact is, we have 870, now we have 880 cars in the fleet. So the odds are that there is a car that could beat it. I used to say this more confidently, that there has to be. Statistically, you figure there's got to be a car faster than the BlitzSpeeder. Excuse me. But as the months pass, I'm not as certain about that. I kind of still think there's a car in there that's faster, but trying to find it is going to be hard. And I don't know. I don't know how that is going to shake out, but I know that we are going to be here. We're going to be introducing new cars. You're going to have an opportunity to choose cars, and that is how it goes. So we've got Beyblade. I mean, there was nothing wrong with the Speed Trap. Like the Speed Trap, did I leave it up? Oh no, here it is. The Speed Trap was a great pick. A solid pick. It won the tournament, and I think for some of these cars that are fast, which the Speed Trap is, I think losing to the BlitzSpeeder isn't really how these cars should be judged, because this is definitely a fast car, and we've seen plenty of fast cars. That Ford GT from last week was a fast car. It's just not faster than the BlitzSpeeder, and ultimately that's what we're trying to do. But on the way there, you want to be the fastest car, and so Beyblade definitely picked the fastest car. And he's already got it lined up. He's going with the police theme and sticking with that. And I saw Christopher was saying we should have a cops versus robbers tournament. The police cars would be easy to identify, but I don't know how we would determine which cars would be the robber cars. So we'll have to kind of workshop that a little bit. But he's going with the Alpha Pursuit, and then Roughshod got he always has his picks ready, locked and loaded. He is going down for the Ferrari 360 Modena. Is that the X Racer version? Let's see. Number 94. Now, yep, it is. Okay. This is one. This is one that should be very interesting, because it is an X-Racer's car, which the BlitzSpeeder is. The Draftnator was also an X-Racer's car, and that was one of our fastest in fleet champions. Also, the Track Tune was an X-Racer car, I believe, and that was one of our fastest in fleet champions. So maybe there's a little correlation between being an X-Racer's car and being fast on our track. Who really knows? But we are going to find out, because we always put the cars on the track and put them to the test, and we can see what happens. We have, let's see, just double check. So we've already got these two. We've got the Ferrari, and we've got the Alpha Pursuit. All right. So, okay, look at, so he's lined up his cars too. Let's take a look at the ones he's considering. 99, the McLaren Senna. Solid pick. I'm wondering about the weight on this car, but we won't know that until we get to race day. That wing in the back looks beefy, just big and hefty, and so we'll see how that plays out if that's the car you pick. But then he's also considering car number 158, which would be 158, the F1 Racer. Interesting. So these are definitely two different cars to be considered, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I think there's another version of this. It's black or dark blue, that I had students pick multiple times, and these are pretty solid cars. I don't know how they match up against whatever cars we end up introducing, but these are pretty solid. So we've got we've already got some picks kind of lined up, and we will see which ones they ultimately end up going with when we return. So we won't, like I said, we won't be here next Saturday because of the holiday, but after that we will be back. We will be racing. We will be introducing new cars into the fleet. If you want to see any of the other races, you can go to our YouTube channel. Under the live tab, all of the episodes are listed, and there are time codes, so you can just jump right to the races or look at specific reviews, or you can watch the whole episode. Whatever it is you want to do, you're welcome to do that. We also have Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, which is where we kind of take a little bit more of a scientific approach, a deeper dive into what's going on with these cars, particularly as it relates to drag. We have our 1/64th scale Winsable wind tunnel, and pretty soon I've been getting emails that the dyno that is going to go into the wind tunnel should be on the way. So hopefully by the next time we do Wind Tunnel Wednesday, which will be not this Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that, hopefully we will have that dyno, and we'll be able to get more information about and see how drag is impacting these cars and check out the aerodynamic profiles. What we know right now is the BlitzSpeeder, the aerodynamic profile is insane, and other cars are going to need to sort of mimic that if they're going to want the opportunity to beat the BlitzSpeeder. And we go into things about the pressure differential and pressure drag and the Coanda effect and Venturi effect, and all of those different things that will impact the car's performance on our tracks. So that is Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, and on our website there is a tab for Wind Tunnel. If you go in the playlist Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, you can see how those cars perform in the wind tunnel, and it's just like AtTheTrack.live. You can make recommendations drop the number in the chat. I'll take the car, put it in the wind tunnel. We had some of the cars that were picked today were the result of the viewer choosing between two cars after seeing them in the wind tunnel. So it does make a difference, and it does help to kind of inform you about how the car might perform. So that is that. So we have Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, which is 4 p.m. on Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. And then AtTheTrack.live, we're always here. And of course, if you'd like more information about our science program, all about aerodynamics, all you have to do is go to aaerodynamics.com, or you can go to our Instagram account, AA Aerodynamics, and find information about how to bring our program to your school or your organization or your special event. So that is what we have. And we had another great race day. Thank you to everyone who watched, everyone who made a selection. Even most people don't watch live, they watch after the fact, and that's fine as well. But if you ever feel like you want to pick a car, you want to participate, all you have to do is you can send me a DM, you can join us here live, drop the number in the chat. I will pull the car, we will race the cars, and we're going to have a good time. So, for all about aerodynamics, for Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, and for At the Track Live, I am Coach James. I hope everyone has a good weekend. If you're in the United States, happy 4th of July. If you're somewhere else, I hope you have a good time where you are. And we will be back that following Saturday and racing more cars and doing our thing. So until next time, I will see you at the races.